Hello, Algebra 2 student. How y'all doing? Good. We have a group of people here that are Algebra 2 students. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to graph a piecewise function. We're going to do a couple of examples to show you how this works. And then hopefully this will help you do problems in the future with this. Yes, there will be some questions like this on the major grade assignment that we have Friday, October the 3rd of 2025. And so we're just going to go through these. I do want to thank the people at All Things Algebra for providing these problems that we're about to look at. So let's just go ahead and get started. So for number 5, we have g of x equals the two expressions. The question first is, well, I've already said it, that we have two pieces of a piecewise function. And so here's how we're going to do this. First, I'm going to take the first line, which it says negative 5 over 2x minus 1. And if x is less than 2, and it's going to be part 1. So I'm just write part 1 for this. The other one will be part 2. Now, as I've discussed in the past, what you will do is you will basically create two tables, one for part 1 and one for part 2. Now, I'm going to create first a part 1 table, and this is going to be my xy. Okay? Then I'm going to do a part 2 table, and then create, again, an xy table. Now, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the endpoints. I put endpoints in the quotes, okay, in air quotes. And so what we look at is, with that down part 1, it says x is what? X is what? Can anybody tell me? Less than 2, right? So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to put that 2 on our x coordinate. Okay, we're going to put 2 on the x. Okay? Now, we need to, as I also mentioned before, that we need to have at least 2 other numbers that fit this statement. Okay? So we can do what?
1 and 0.
I can do 1 and 0 because it says x is less than 2. I need 2 numbers less than 2, which are, like he said, 1 and 0. Okay? That's San Antonio, by the way. Okay? All right. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to calculate what each of these are equal to. Okay? Now, notice that the equation here is negative 5 over 2 x minus 1. So remember, all that means is that let's do x equals 2. Okay? We'll do x equals 2, which means we're going to plug in negative 5 over 2 times 2 and then minus 1. Okay? And so we just need to calculate what that is.
The first 2 is negative 6.
So 2 will be negative 6.
1 will be negative 3.5.
And then 1 will be negative 3.5.
And 0 is negative 1.
Okay. So in case you said negative 1.5, right? You said negative 1.5?
No, just negative 1.
No, for 1.
Oh, negative 3.5.
Oh, negative 3.5. Okay. So in case you did not know that, what you would do basically is you would plug in the value of x into the equation. Now, I probably could have thought about this a little better, but we probably could have used like just even numbers because the slope had 5 over 2 or negative 5 over 2. But that's okay. We have 0 and what did you say? 1? Negative 1. Sorry. 0, negative 1. Okay? So we have those 3 points. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my graph and I'm going to go ahead and graph those. Now, remember, this graph says x less than 2. So it's not equal to, right? So as again we mentioned before, we know that if it's x less than 2, that 2, the point 2 negative 6 is going to be a what type of circle? It's not equal to, right? So it's a what type of circle? It's going to be open, right? So we're going to have 2, negative 6. So we're going to have 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to put my open circle right there. Okay? Then I could graph 1, negative 3.5, but that might be a little tough. So I'm going to go over 1, and then 1, 2, 3, and then halfway, right? So there's that. Okay? And then I'm going to graph 0, negative 1, which is right here. Now remember, the only reason we have an open circle where we have it is because it's where it's not equal. The other points obviously are going to be on there, so we just draw the line. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw my ruler, and I think this will actually show up on the video, which is okay. I'm just going to take my ruler. They can't see it up in the classroom here, but I have my ruler, and I'm going to draw the rest of my, oh, that's not good. I'm going to draw the rest of my line like this. So it's going to basically be kind of like this. And remember, you have to put your arrow on the end because remember, it's going to continue to be less than 2. Okay? All right? So basically, you draw, you make a couple of points. You make a couple of points, and then you connect. Okay? So that's how you do that. All right? That's for part 1. Okay? Anybody in this room have a question right now?
No, sir.
You sure?
Positive.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you have a question, then rewind back. Okay. Those of you that are watching this later on. Now, the next thing we'll do is part 2. Part 2 says x is greater than 2. Oh, this is interesting. I'm glad we're going over this one. This is x is greater than 2. So again, we're going to put the number 2 on that x, and then we need to come up with at least 2 other values that can work for x. And you're going to be what?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, because those 2 numbers are greater than 2. So we're going to have 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now, just like we did before, we're going to calculate what y is for each of those. So that means, like for example, if I have x equals 2, then I'm going to plug in 2 plus 2. And so 2 plus 2 equals what? 2 plus 2 equals what? 2 plus 2 equals what? 4. All right. I'm just making sure. Okay. So it's going to be 4. Then you would do it again for 3. So what's that going to be? Just do 3 plus 2, right? So 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay. All right. I told you I need cooperation. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And then 4 will be what? 6. Because you just follow the pattern, right? So it'll be 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then, 4, 5, 6, what? 7. All right, there we go. All right, we got to add that in. Okay, all right. So now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plot those points. So we're going to put 2, 4. And again, because it says x is greater than 2, what kind of circle do I put at 2, 4? It's still going to be open. Okay? So we have no close. We have nothing closed right now on 2. So it's going to be 2, 4. So it's going to be 1, 2 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, I put my open circle at 2, 4. Then I'm going to do 3, 5. So that's going to be right here. We're going to have 4 and then 6 right here. And then I can keep going like that until I get to the end. And then again, I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to connect those points. Okay, just like that. And then draw my arrow right there. So right now, we have the graph of this function. Okay? So all we did was graph part 1. We graphed part 2. Okay? And then we have those parts. Okay? Is there anybody in this room that has a question about what we've done so far?
The hardest part for me is the range.
Okay, that's what we're about to talk about right now. So the domain and range. So that might be a little bit of trouble for some of y'all too.
The only thing I didn't understand is how you graph part 1.
How do I graph part 1?
Yeah.
So basically, I just plotted. So basically, for part 1, there's a question about part 1. So basically, because it was 2, since it was x is less than 2, I have to start with that endpoint. So I start with 2. I'm plugging in 2 into that equation.
So it would be negative 5 over 2.
Yeah, negative
Multiplied
by 2. So right here, see how I have it? So negative 5 over 2 times 2, then minus 1. Okay? See, once you have it written down, I don't care if you use calculator. But remember, y'all will only be able to use these calculators over here. Okay? But like I said, just make sure that you just put, you write down what you're plugging in, and then you get to calculate it from there. Now, if you want to do it in pieces, you do it in pieces. But like I said, just once you have it written down, just calculate it. Okay? Just put in the calculator and calculate it. Okay? All right. I have no problem with you doing that, just as long as you writing this down. Okay?
Mister, let me see the equations.
See the equation? Which one?
Yeah, those.
Those? Okay. So we just did part 1. We just did one number on part 1. We just plugged in the 2 into that part 1 equation. And then you can also do it again for x equals 1, and then again for x equals 0. Okay? Like if I do it for x equals 1, then it was basically negative 5 over 2 times 1, then minus 1. Okay? And so if you put that in, then and in this case, I probably, even though I like the fractions, I prefer that you do the decimal, because if you're going to graph it, it's easier to graph it if it's a decimal. Okay? And so this one was negative 3.5. Okay? And then you just do that for the other points as well. Okay? All right? All right. Anybody still need to write this down? Okay, I'll wait just a moment. I hope y'all understand I'm not going to edit anything. Okay? I'm not editing anything. So y'all be careful what y'all say. Is that all right? Okay? What's that? Which one? Where? How come it doesn't have everything on there? Wait, are you looking at? Wait, hold on. Is this a picture? Okay. Okay, well, I don't know why yours doesn't show up. Does the rest of y'all show up on the digitally? Like number 5, like this whole thing? Okay, I don't know why yours doesn't show everything. I wonder if you need to re-download it or something. Okay. All right. Can I go on now, or is somebody still writing? Can I go on? Okay. All right. I guess I could have said, well, it's not that hard to edit, I guess, but I'll just say edit, okay, and then I'll go from there. Okay, I'll just try to edit. Okay, all right. So, all right, but, don't make it too difficult. Okay, now we got to find the domain and range. Okay? Oh, I forgot. I shouldn't have done that. But that's okay. So we're going to find the domain and range. Okay? And so the way we do the domain and range is, remember, it's left to right. Okay? Left to right. Now, this is an interesting one because you'll see at positive 2, right, for x equals 2, there are 2 open circles. Okay? There are 2 open circles. So with that being said, does anybody know what you see furthest to the left on this graph? What do you see furthest to the left? An arrow. And if it's on the left, what does that mean? What does that mean if the arrow's on the left? Negative what? So it'd be to negative what? Negative infinity, right? So remember, it's going to be negative infinity. Okay? Comma. Now, here's the situation. Like I was telling you, we have the number 2, right? But 2 is an open circle both times. Because the 2 is open both times, what we have to do is we must put the number 2 right here. And then I need to use a parentheses because there's no closed circle for x equals 2. And then guess what? I have to now put a U. Y'all remember what U stands for? Union. And then I have to do a parentheses again. And now what do you think I'm going to put right after that parentheses? Nope. No, I think somebody said it.
Negative 6?
Nope. We're talking about x still.
No, X.
So what's the next x side? What x side do I put? Does anybody know?
1.
No, not 1.
Why did we do the union?
Why are we doing the union?
Yeah.
Because, okay, so I want to say what the answer is, because it's going to be a 2 again. Because remember that there was no closed circle on 2. None whatsoever. Okay? So basically we have 2 different situations here. Okay? So there's no, if there had been a closed circle, then we wouldn't have to break up the 2. But because we have 2 open circles at x equals 2, we have to, because remember, we can't do anything with it. So we have to split it up like that. Okay? If one of the circles had been closed, then it would have been okay to just not even break this up. Okay? That's the only reason why we have the U. Now, for the right side, it's going to be union 2, comma, to what? What's the right side? Infinity. That's right. So what this is saying is that the domain is everything but 2. Does anybody have a question about that? Again, the reason why is, I hope this picks up my voice. But again, because you had an open circle right here and an open circle here, there's no closed circles anywhere on x equals 2. So because it has no closed circle, then we have to split it up. That's the only reason why we have to split up this domain. Okay? Does anybody have a question?
No, they were both closed circles. It would just be negative infinity.
It would be negative infinity, exactly. There would be no disconnection. Okay? All right. Okay. That allows me to think about something on the test now. Okay, but anyway. All right. So there's a domain. So now let's do the range. So let's start with the range. What is the lowest the range is, the y value is on this problem? It's, say it again. Negative 6. It is going to be a what? Is it going to, what kind of shape or what thing do we put in front of it? So it's going to be a what? So it's a what? A parentheses, right? Because it's open, like I said. So it's going to be parentheses, negative 6, comma. Now, is there any break that we need to have before up until the highest thing. Nothing is a break.
I don't even know. Well, just infinity.
It's just going to be to infinity. That's it. Now, let me explain why. Okay? It's just -6 to infinity. Okay? And then you close the parentheses. That's it. Here's why. Okay? And I'm just showing them. But basically, here's how it goes. What it is that as you go up, right? You're going up, you're going up, going up. But there's an open circle right here, right? But over here, it's still going. So therefore, if you have a closed circle, basically, you have a closed circle and an open circle on the same line, the closed circle overtakes it. It wins. So therefore, even though this is still going, we don't worry about this on the range. So therefore, it's still going and it's going to continue to go up until forever. So that's why we do not have to break it up. That's why the range is what it is. Okay? So that's it. Okay? That's it. Okay? So that's basically what you do. Okay? So that is a domain, that is a range, and this is a graph. So this is your answer here for this problem, for problem number 5. Okay? All right.